You mentioned, what are we gonna do in 40 years from now? Well, shoot, if it was up to me, we'd be done with this overnight. But that's not gonna be reality. So we have to look at this in the long term, but also the short term. I mean, what
Well,
kind of
we
short
need
term
a
advances can we make now?
we need a new investigation. You know, that's really it. We're still working towards that, and so I think it's gonna come. If we keep pushing, it'll definitely come. You know, it would be better if we had a lot of people who would file their own lawsuits at the same time,
Well,
and
that's
just
where we
kind of
talk
flood the
about
whole system. But
that's where we talk about
we just can't let the issue die.
jury
That way.
nullification. Then bringing it down to the grand jury level and having states try.
Yeah, but they tried in California, and it's still possible again. But you gotta have the right people doing it, and you gotta make sure people aren't there to take the money and leave town, like Mike Gravel.
So if we learn from our past mistakes and move forward,
F.U. Gravel.
right? So if we learn from our past mistakes and move forward and have a
Exactly.
stronger foot in the ground,
Exactly.
I think by bringing awareness, we can make that happen. And again,
It's trial and error.
right? And again, a lot of people are pessimists and they think, oh yeah, we have to
It'll
win this
never
over.
happen.
We have to win this overnight, or we're gonna lose. I mean, it's not gonna be like that. All these people saying it's too late. Well, you know what? I don't see no fat lady singing.
Come to my site. Go here. Go there.
Yeah,
You know, just
we've
do
got
it.
we've got time.
Get out there and do something. You know, just keep the word going.
Hmm.
That's how we're gonna win. That's how we're all gonna win. And then somebody's gonna slip through those cracks. It's like a bunch of sperm going into the same egg. You know, we're all just needs to just make a rush towards truth and just fucking expose everything. Expose these guys. And
Yep.
so one of us is gonna get through to the right place.
Well, no, it's just like the Matrix. You're only gonna wake up a few, and those that you wake up, continue to work
we've
with them.
we've seen a lot. I mean, we've seen a
Oh,
lot
totally.
of people wake up.
Definitely.
So it's definitely working. And now that they're coming after us and trying to discredit groups like us, then that also shows that it's really working.
Well, that's when the litmus test really happens. Is when you start seeing, you know, I guess you can call them the COINTELPRO element of the
Which
whole
is something
arena.
to talk about. Something to
Right.
really talk about. You know, what to really look out for. Something we haven't talked about here. I think.
Right, and with that said, we could talk about. I guess I could start off with just 9/11 truth as a whole, where we've seen in the past, quote unquote, disruptors and disinfo agents. And again, I'm not trying to shut down or shoot down any conspiracy theory or free thought, but I just want to make the point that, with that said, being very open minded, we can be led down some rat holes when it looks like we're going down the rabbit hole. And it's very easy to be drawn into some conspiracy that just doesn't make any sense. It will never hold water. So, with that said, going back to 9/11, conspiracy theories that we can prove are conspiracy theories will just start off simple. Look at the 9/11 Commission report. That itself is a conspiracy theory. 19 alleged hijackers, the verb descent, hijacked commercial airliners with box cutters. A conspiracy of 19 men. Conspiracy to commit murder and terrorist acts. That is a conspiracy theory. That right there. So when we start looking at that, we start questioning the official government conspiracy theory. So the government conspiracy theory, again, we say 19 hijackers, and then we look at who are their ties, where did they get their funding,
But
how did they get their training, who are they? What would the FBI do in an investigation? They would do everything they could to find out who these men were and how they got to where they were and how they committed this act.
That's what they should do. That's
Right.
not what they did. Right.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly.
They did
So
was
that's
something totally different.
right. So that's what I'm about to get into. So when we look at the investigation as a whole, I mean, the first thing that investigators do is they quarantine the crime scene. Granted, 9/11 was an emergency humanitarian effort to rescue and try to, preserve life. We had 3,000 casualties. They say it was 2,995 if I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure there's more. people that died after due to the injuries and dust that was inhaled or
Asbestos.
collateral damage or whatever you want to call them. They died as well. So they count as far as that 2,995 is concerned. So they're all dead as a result of this act of murder. So, this it being an act of murder, we have to wonder, why was this not handled like any other crime scene? See, the first thing that we see in a crime scene, if you're all familiar with television, which I'm sure you are, I'm pretty sure there's some of you out there that watch CSI or Matlock or any of those crime shows or whatever, trying to be like
Those
Kojak.
on? Those are still on.
I mean, they're all
Matlock?
over. I mean, yeah, a lot of these
Matlock's
TV shows are still on for the only thing to do is program and brainwash, I guess you can say. But it's good entertainment,
Okay.
Hey, I've watched Perry Mason a few times.
I actually
I've
love
seen
the old
I've seen
Perry
CSI
Mason.
and what's that other one?
CSI. That was alright.
Yeah, Law and Order.
Law and
So,
Order. People like Law and Order.
they watch those. Those are all programming shows.
Belzer's cool. I like him.
But with that said, check it out. So these shows that are used to program us also show us quote unquote criminal procedure. So when we look at criminal procedure, one of the first things that you do as I guess you can call him a criminologist or a detective or an investigator or the guy with the badge that says, hey,
That
I'm the
one
guy
dude.
that's investigating this. They quarantine the crime scene, they shut everything off, and they mark all the evidence. On 9/11, we saw none of that. The only thing that we did see was this rush to literally clean up the crime scene. I mean, what was it, 2 months time period for all the structural steel to be
It was like molten lava.
sent to,
for
well,
a
not, yeah,
couple
not
months,
only that, but just shipping it and recycling it the way they did. They already had the contract set up, they had everything set up, ready to go.
And
And then they just
never,
removed all the metal and the steel and all the debris.
How did they hide that there were bombs going off? I don't know how they hid that for so long. I guess just by just not letting that video get out.
I think the chaos theory takes play into that.
That's crazy.
There's so much chaos that people are looking for an official story that they just rely on the government's account. And the official government account is that 19 hijackers, again, going back to the conspiracy theory that the 9/11 Commission report talks about. 19 hijackers, what was it? 4 aircraft hijacked. We had World Trade Center 1, World Trade Center 2, Shanksville, and the Pentagon. So 4 airplanes hijacked. Again, back to the official conspiracy theory, all with box cutters. 19 hijackers split up into 4 groups. So that's roughly, what's that? 19, 4 planes. Well, 5 hijackers a plane, 6 hijackers maybe.
At least 5 planes, I think, right? Have to have at least 5
Well, no,
for that white plane that was circling the White House.
Well, no, but
too.
we don't know what that is. We don't.
No, but
that
we
wasn't
know that
confirmed.
it was there. That
But
is, that's
but,
confirmed.
Well,
I
no,
think.
I'm talking about but again, going back to the 9/11 Commission report. Just that's not mentioned.
Well, I don't even believe they mention William Rodriguez, do
Right.
they?
Again, that's
they
why.
don't- There's just they don't mention
Right.
Building 7.
Right,
They don't
that's-
mention explosions. They don't mention any of that.
Right. So that's why I'm sticking to the quote unquote official story. So that way we can shoot holes through it. But not only that, we just demonstrate how pathetic it is. So again, we go back to the official story. 19 hijackers, 4 airplanes, Shanksville, Pentagon, World Trade Center 1, World Trade Center 2. 4 airplanes destroyed. Each hijacking team, roughly 5 to 6 people, maybe less. Overrunning 90 people on average within each fuselage and of the airplane. 4 commercial liners, that many hijackers, give me a break, dude. You're telling me that no one in their right mind thought about picking up a hot cup of coffee, picking up food trays, picking up hot food out of the microwave, something, and throwing it at someone with a knife? 90 people? Okay. So, I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist for questioning the official report. But again, that's how pathetic it is. So,
Yeah.
we go another step further, examining the official report. 9/11 Commission report says that the passports were found within the rubble of World Trade
It's
Center
just
1
not
and 2.
possible. It's not possible.
Yeah, no hijackers were found, no bodies were found, no dental records were ever recovered, but a full bag of passports and documents, and it all conveniently showed up.
That's why all of the news they were focusing on things that Bush didn't do. They were focusing on things that they couldn't do that they could do better next time. Never focusing on the real issues.
Right.
Especially
Oh yeah. So Bush again. So back to the conspiracy theory about the crime scene. So we look at the official report. They didn't quarantine the crime scene. They didn't. They didn't. Mark things for evidence the way they should have, where they have the entire scene quarantined off. I mean, Shanksville, yeah, they did to an extent.
and
The Pentagon. I mean, the Pentagon was a freaking mess. I mean, that whole. I don't know what the hell they were doing there. That was just a circus. It looked like a trade show.
I don't know why
all these
they had
tents
like
and
all the tents and the cargo boxes and stuff like that. Like, why
yeah,
would
keeping
you want to
everything
hide
under
that?
wraps.
Yeah, I don't understand that. So that was weird.
Yeah,
The whole thing was weird.
no luggage. Where was the luggage? Where was the body? Where were the bodies?
But we can all agree that what they told us is not true. What they told us is not the real story. I think we can all agree on that. You know,
Right.
I mean, it'd be hard pressed to find people who didn't.
Well, what did the commission report say about World Trade Center 7? Nothing.
Well, that's part of the problem, right?
Right.
But that's why, there's some great groups out there that have more focus towards Building 7. And we definitely need those. We need everybody to just get active, to activate and stay activated.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
activation is key. Being active and not being apathetic. But
Well,
it's really easy to become apathetic.
it is. It is.
Yep, in the age and era of lies, truth becomes revolutionary.
Yeah, and there's still so many people that don't know about September 11th. There's still so many people who are still sticking to that story that we've all been told, that it was 19 people.
19 hijackers,
Okay.
several
19
of them which were trained at American bases. And go on. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, that basically says it, and some guy in a cave that we trained a long time ago, but then he went rogue, basically.
Oh, you mean Tim Osmond?
Tim Osmond, maybe?
Timothy Osmond?
I don't know. Maybe that was his name back in the 70s, back in the 80s. I don't know.
It's alleged that his name was Timothy Osmond, then later changed to Usama with the U, Bin Laden. So I don't know which is real. Tim Osmond, Bin Laden, or Bin Laden and Tim Osmond.
Tim Osmond is a little close to Harvey Lee Oswald. It's very close to that, so yeah, it's kind of weird. These names that they pick. I wonder who comes up with these names.
It almost seems like it's a computer system.
Maybe
Wait,
it's
but
a
isn't that what
computer
Al
system.
Qaeda was based off of, with the FBI database?
Al-Qaeda is a...
Wasn't that the title of the FBI database in the 80s of the quote unquote terrorist organizations?
I
Their
believe you're right.
quote unquote database of terrorism.
So Al-Qaeda is a system. It's not a bunch of people in a foreign country. That's what you're saying.
Basically, I guess you can.
I would
if
agree
you're
with that.
If
I
you're to
mean-
define it as such, it's not really a nation state.
Yeah.
There is no central power, I guess you can say, like Washington D.C. or London or the Vatican or
Oh, isn't
anything
there?
like that. Well, where is it? Where is Al Qaeda's headquarters? Is it in Mecca?
It's with...
I doubt it's in Mecca.
Osama bin Laden, probably.
In his
Who
spirit?
just died.
Is it in his heart?
Who recently
He
died.
just died. Oh wait,
So
number
they-
11.
So they tell us.
He died 11 times. So
11 years, wow. Well, that's...
once a year.
We've killed him every year. since
Instead of a
September
birth date,
11th.
he has a death date.
Interesting. Wonder if they're going to kill him next year, too.
You know, with the turmoil and the craziness going on with the world as a whole, it wouldn't surprise me if they resurrected Zombie Bin Laden for the umpteenth time now. You know what I'm saying?
What do you do
Just
now?
keep faking the death over and over.
Okay, so then who's running it? That Zawahiri guy? Now he's running it?
I think we could thank our good friends at Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, the other banking major players out there. You know, we could give kudos to them for funding and financing all the radical factions of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. We've seen it time and time again. So just Hats off.
Hats off to you.
Hats
Thank
off
you.
to you for
That was nice.
financing every single side of the conflict and continuously standing on top as if you're the Lord, Savior, and the second Messiah that was promised. Coming out with loans and bailouts, acting as if they're God.
Wow.
You know, just saying, hey, you know, we have all this extra money. We just turned the printing presses on and created, and here you go. You
That's
know,
it.
this will stimulate you and get your economy going on the up and up. Maybe get some other things stimulated as well. But as far as the economy is concerned, it's one of those wham bam, thank you ma'am, uh, casino gulags where you hit it big for a couple hours and then after about 10 or 12 drinks, you realize you lost it all, and Goldman Sachs gets to run away with the cash. Lehman Brothers are sitting pretty. All the banks that should have died continuously operate as zombies. These, I guess you can say, self-propelled dead banks that just propel themselves down to oblivion. You know, with all these fake wars and things that were created from the good old war on terrorism, which was started on actually this day 11 years ago, 9/11. So you know, it's to keep things simple. It's just this one banker orgy of fun and helicopter Ben dumping money here, making it rain on them hoes, like they say. The hip hop generation of today, the so-called hip hop, whatever they call that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this is sad. I mean, who would do this? Who would do this to innocent people? But man, just it makes no sense.
Well, when you have no
To the
soul,
average person, it makes no sense. Why would you do this?
well, when you have no soul and no spiritual meaning in the universe other than to destroy, pillage, rape, and anything good, I mean, you become a banker, and you know that's what ends up happening to the world, and the world gets overrun by banks when everyone's sitting pretty, living happy on this credit, while they all have their Dish TV subscriptions. I mean, come on. I mean, what more do you look
We're
at the
just
game?
mice on the little treadmill thing going.
Oh
and
yeah,
going,
we can say that, but
time to get off.
we can also say we're just pieces on a monopoly board
True.
where the bank, symbolic, what's the word I'm looking for?
Symbolically.
Symbolically speaking, from the Monopoly game, which was created in the 30s, shows that the bank is the most powerful player on the board, even though they're not really a player.
Right.
They're more or less the referee, I guess you can say. So it
Right.
pays to be the referee in this system. Now, in order for you to monopolize and capitalize on that, you have to resort to this system of cutthroat capitalism, which is not even, I guess you can say, a fair method of the word capitalism, or the fair free market, I guess you can say, where they write the rules based on their political pool and their numbers of influence through lobbyists and other things like that. So this system of the banks controlling everything, you have this system of families and private individuals who have basically rewritten the rules for themselves and defined this new form of thugocracy, monopoly capitalism, where it's not even the true Jeffersonian or George Washington or anything that the founding fathers actually fought for. They didn't fight for monopolies taking over the nation. They actually warned us against monopolies taking over the state and corporations taking over the government. I mean, they really tried hard to warn us, but as time progressed on and the banks slowly had their tentacles pretty much wrapped around society as a whole, they basically turned it into their monopoly game, where each and every one of us, regardless if we want to or not, are forced into this system of, well, you're using fiat currency, so you have to use their monopoly money in order to play the game. And the moment you try to change the rules, especially if you try to create your own competing currency, the moment you do that, their game is up. So their biggest threat is the American people, you, the viewer, myself, Greg, and everyone else out there. When we come out and create our currencies, it becomes a major threat to them. to the banks. So by doing so, that's how we break away from their system of control. You can't just say, hey, we're going to stop playing the game, because stop playing the game and go try to buy some gas at Chevron. Good luck. You know, try paying for gas with gold and silver. I challenge every one of you, and if you can, you know, make a video of a gas station that actually accepts gold or silver, or, you know, currency that's actual currency. And I'm not talking going out and buying a 1964 silver quarter and saying, hey, I bought gas with this 25 cents and trying to work the system. No, I'm saying, you know, take a fucking gold piece. Pardon my French, but I'm getting a little compassionate here. Take a gold piece, take a silver piece, take a gold bar, and say, hey, you know what? Let me fill up my tank for a month, and, you know, here's a gold bar. See what they say. Guarantee you they ain't gonna do it. So the competing currency is their major threat. That's their biggest nightmare. Because once they have control of the game, it doesn't matter who plays. You're still using their currency, and, you know, the only real way to get out of it is to invest
But they only control the
assets.
currency from the Fed. That's how they're able to. That's how they're able to keep control of it. They're like blackmailing us, basically.
Well, no, basically the way they control it. Well, yeah, you're right. Is so you're basically taking a piece of paper, drawing all these funny pictures on it and past presidents and things of that nature, and saying this is legal tender, this is a contract between you and the state, but it's a contract that you don't sign on to. You're participating in a loan. You're exchanging promissory notes. You're exchanging a loan for a loan. You're not giving anyone anything of actual value. You're actually giving someone a debt. I mean, yeah, it sounds like you have wealth, but you're basically, what's that one saying? Paying Paul with Sally's money, or what is that? Taking Peter's money to pay Paul, or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Borrowing from Sally to pay Peter with Paul's money. I don't know. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically, you're taking out a loan. You're not, you know, going to the ground, digging up a potato, and say, give me something of value for this potato. You know, it's just, I went to a tree and grabbed a leaf and said, this leaf is now worth, you know, this much based on these grounds and rules that the government created to implement this fiat currency, where it's not even, again, backed. It's not like, yeah, we went to the mines and dug up, you know, 5 ounces of silver, and we're gonna trade with that now. It's, no, you just went over to a tree and pressed some paper.
That's it.
And turned that leaf or bark or whatever into a piece of paper and said, hey, based on the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, this is the stipulation of the currency, and this is what you can and cannot do with the system, and the moment you try to use these units of trade without telling us, i.e. reporting taxes,
But that's why
you're going to get a phone call and maybe a nice visit from a good old SWAT team.